probably grab this. Probably. Alright. Need my bucket of brushes. Hello, hello. It is Art Sunday. As cats are knocking shit over behind me. Alright. Oh, we might have to grab the detail brushes for this. Oh. Alright. For starters, I just need... I guess that'll do. Alright, so come on in. Get comfies. Grab a drink. Grab a snack. Remember to keep your drink away from your paint water. And get ourselves situated here. Still a little discombobulated, but we're working on it. Okay. So it's gonna be hard to detail these guys because they're small. We're gonna still do as much as we can, but we will be a little bit limited with how detailed we can go here. Oh, Bob, where am I gonna put you? You keep falling from your spaces. I just don't have enough room. We're not to brush washing yet, Bob. We're not there yet. We're not there. We're not beating the devil out of anything yet. Hit the button. The sound quality on that thing is terrible. Alright, so everybody needs a base coat of something here. So I guess we'll go with brown. Because I'm sure as hell only painting one side of these. I mean, in detail. But I put a piece of parchment down, so hopefully we don't pick up any paint flecks from the board like we were starting to pick up last week. Hopefully. Alright, so the backs aren't going to be anything too special. Just, you know, getting that base coat life on there. Just to give us a color to work off of. Alright, so I hope everybody had a good weekend. If you went out into the Black Friday madness, I hope you made it through unscathed. I hope your Thanksgiving was good if you celebrated. Hopefully you didn't break the bank while out shopping if you participated. Russell and I didn't. We've worked retail too long. We are traumatized about the thought of even going out the door on a Black Friday weekend. Like, we don't even want to go to the grocery store. We're like, no. Not unless it's a dire emergency. Like, no, that's okay. The good thing about these, or this paint, at the very least, is that it doesn't normally take too much time to dry. Sorry, my brain takes a moment to recall all of the words when I'm in the middle of trying to do something. I don't mean to break up my words and have all the ums in there, but my brain's a little slow most of the time when it comes to processing things. Apologies. So it's probably going to be a little crinkly with the parchment. I should have probably put the curl facing the other way, but oh well now. Alright, so this is just our base coat. Oh, I'm so happy my paint by number showed up Friday. I had really wanted to dive on into it on Friday, but I needed to give it time to flatten out because it came rolled. And it's about the size of a 16 by 20 canvas. So it's a little difficult size-wise to try to stream it in my current setup. I'd have to see if I can find the extension cable for the camera. And I guess I would have to bring the Twitch chat up on my Kindle, but then I won't be able to do any modding if I do that. I'd have to have the husband taking care of everything because I wouldn't be near my mouse and keyboard, so... Although, well, I don't know. If we put the camera on the bar that's above my head, and I bring the chat up on my Kindle, I'll have to have the Kindle plugged into the charger though, because I don't think the battery would survive very long. My Kindle's dying a very slow death. I could at least see the chat and then turn back in my chair if I needed to handle something, I suppose. Alright. That's an idea, but I don't know. I might just save that for when I want to do something arty, but I might save that for me. This is the paint by number I got. I don't even remember who the hell it was from. So this is gonna be fun. It's very, very tiny, the spots, but I've started putting in this was even in the roll. That's why it's taped down and clipped so that I could actually see it. It still looks like it wants to roll, so I'm not gonna take it off of the board just yet, but I'm starting to do the black and get that in, get the shadows laid in first. And coming to realize that I need detail brushes, tiny, tiny detail brushes. I might have to do surgery on an old brush. Oh, it's painful to think about. I don't like doing that. I've got a couple small brushes, but just not liking them. It did come with 3 brushes, and I don't really understand the one brush. It seems a little big. Like, they gave a good sized flat brush, which I'm like, I don't understand where I would really use that. Like, there might be a couple spots that are bigger where maybe I would use it. But a lot of those spots are so tiny. They did give like a small round and like a next size up round, maybe a couple sizes up, but they're okay. The one was having some bristles that I didn't see were in slight issue until I started painting, so I don't know, maybe I'll have to go back and do surgery on that brush, although I don't know how much surgery those brushes can handle. I don't like the feel of the handles because they're unfinished wood, so it feels like it's sucking all of the moisture out of my hand because there's no coating on that handle, and I'm like, this feels kind of skeevy. So then I was trying to swap between my brushes, because at least my brushes have coating on the handles, so it's not quite so skeevy to hold. The texture kind of starting to give me the chills on those brushes, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do the handle unless I wrap the handle in tape. That's an option. I'd hate to waste the tape though for something like that. Alright, so there's chicken number 2. I'm like, oh, and what am I going to wipe my hands off on? My paint towel that's right next to me that I forgot was there. That's what we'll wipe our hands off on. Alright. This camera, why are you bouncing? Let's not bounce. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I didn't have it in quite the position to keep it from bouncing. Apologies. It's just sitting on my monitor, so if my monitor starts bouncing, and my monitor is sitting on top of a collector's edition World of Warcraft box and a book, so I have a Art of World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King art book, still in the cellophane from the Wrath Collector's Edition box. I don't think it's worth anything. So it is just helping hold my monitor up. But now that I've got this chair, I might have to raise the monitor a little bit higher. I'm not sure how much higher I can get away with raising it, though. And you not new. So, we're not going to be doing the mother-in-law's gift on stream after all. It's been a rough couple of weeks. I think I've made up my mind that the incense that we had to emergency buy her is now her Christmas gift. Because that was money we were not expecting to have to spend. I might do part of what I was gonna give her and just keep it or put it up on the shop. Because there's a whole bunch of feelings there, and just don't know if I want to put that much work into it when it's not going to be appreciated. So alright, get the page in that hole. Well, we'll try to get the inside of the hole. Alright. Oh, I found this awesome company. Well, they look awesome. I haven't ordered from them yet, so I'm not going to give the name of it until I've had the chance to order from them. But I found these wood flamingo cutout shapes. And I'm like, oh, they're not that expensive. All things considered, based off of some of the prices I've seen on Amazon. Even though I'd have to pay shipping from this company, the prices I think make up for that. So for what I'd get, they've got all kinds of like wood cutouts and different animals and shapes and shit, and I'm like, yes, this is what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna try them out at some point and get some flamingo cutouts, because eventually I want a white tree decked out in every kind of flamingo ornament I can find. Whether I have to make them myself or if I have to, or you know, a combination of made and bought. I was so happy seeing, such a happy feeling seeing my flamingo family all back together again outside. We did have to replace the one string of lights that we had hung up. Like 2 days after we hung it up, half the string went out, and I was like, oh. It wasn't a new set of lights though. They'd been around for a while, so I'm not surprised. But we did manage to find a string of lights that did work. So we swapped them out. And I've got my 2 Christmas light up flamingos outside with my plastic flamingo family surrounding them. Well, meowed. Oh, I think Ed's mad. I've got stuff sitting on the bed where he was trying to take a nap. And he keeps coming back to try to sit there. But I didn't have anywhere else to put the stuff, so I had to unbury my box of paint. Alright, well, at least this number of roosters that we're trying to paint is giving the other ones a chance to try. Get our base coated chickens done here. Yeah, so I haven't gotten very far on the paint by number. I really want to get further on it though, but I had to finish getting my bloodthirsties ready for Wednesday, which I did finish that up yesterday. So we're all good there. Need to log in and do the trivia question on my iron. That is probably going to ding my iron today. So sorry that won't be on stream because I don't want to not take advantage of that because I really can't kill a whole lot with that iron. So yeah, I'll do the trivia question. I'm not going to bother taking her to Pilgrim's Bounty though. There's not a whole lot she can do with that. And the XP felt quite a bit lower than the trivia question, obviously. I mean, it's probably lower on purpose because there's so many dailies or whatnot involved with it. But it's, even then, it still felt kind of low. To me, at least. I think a couple other people in the community thought it felt low too, but don't know if that was just us or what. So I don't really have that many of the metallic or pearlescent fancy pants paints from, I call them fancy pants paints, from Arteza, so we might just craft paint these ones and not do the Arteza paints on these. I don't really know if I have the colors, all of the colors that I would need in the Arteza ones. I'd probably have to mix some, and that's gonna be a little bit tough with the time that we have today, so. And honestly, they're gonna get the matte finish on them anyhow, and since they're not really gonna be all that special, like not special finish or anything, then might as well just go with these ones. Let's get this guy going. Sometimes I miss my airbrush for large things, but I had an air compressor for it, and oh, that was loud. Like super loud, and it got super hot. Like I'd have to sit it on like the concrete floor or something of the basement that I was working in, and it was a fucking pain in the ass to clean, to be perfectly honest. So many parts that had to get taken. So many little pieces had to be taken apart and cleaned and scrubbed, and like, I know you can get the cans of air and that's going to be a lot quieter, but sometimes they just felt like they were a lot more involved than I really wanted to do. Sorry, I'm like half off the screen because I'm trying to see what I'm doing. So husband got his eyes checked, and he got his glasses ordered from Zenny, I think is how you pronounce it. We've never done glasses online. The only reason why we are trying to do it this time is because it was cheaper than buying them even from Walmart's eye center. And we found a really cute pair of frames that he loved. So we will see. They kind of reminded me of like Milo from Atlantis, the Disney one. They just looked so awesomely professory nerdy that I'm like, oh, you have to get these. And he like, when he first saw them, he kind of laughed, and then he's like, you know what? I do kind of like those. Like, yes, get them. So he's trying the their version, the generic version of the transitions, because the transitions lenses from the company Transitions.
Transition is a brand name. I'm trying the non-brand name.
Yeah, because the brand name ones were, oh my god, they were like the cost of his glasses alone. And I'm like, oh my word, those are expensive. So we're gonna try those lenses on his. We're gonna see how he likes his from there. And if he's happy with them and the fit and everything, and we might be getting mine from there too. There's two different frames that I was looking at. One was just a very, very simple standard black wire frame. The other one was kind of crazy. That was silver, had like the half frames on the top, no frame on the bottom of the lens, and then they had like a filigree cut on the arms, and on the inside, like the outside of the frame was silver, and the inside of the frame was a turquoisey color, and I'm like, oh, they're Nisi glasses. But we'll see. Those ones are also like $15-$20 more than the other ones. Probably 15 more. Trying to remember how much the other ones were. So we'll see. His frame should be here in like 2 weeks, because they gotta cut the lenses and all that and make them. Alright. I think I'm just painting the parchment at that point. I don't think I really got the sides of the hole on that one, but you know what? We're not really gonna see the inside of the hole with the fluffy garland that we've got, so. Alright. So, I mean, I'm not gonna get too fussed about the back side of this. I mean, we could do one more coat on the back side, but it is the back side. It's kind of up to you how awesome you want the back side to look. I guess we can give them one more pass real quick. Just to make sure that we've got all the crevices covered, because there's that texture on the back side. Sorry, I've got something on the edge of my finger there. I saw it and it was bothering me. I might have to put a little bit more of this paint out. We'll see. All right. Carefully slide you over, slide you up there to dry. Alright, who's our next dry one? Alright, so that would be you. Okay, so for those that are new here, I don't do music anymore. I used to do Pretzel, for those that remember. Pretzel changed their app and it got a little weird, and I can't afford to do the paid version. And then on the free version, it was, I had a stream muted because of whatever was playing, so that kind of pissed me off. Because it shouldn't have, but I was also having trouble getting the attribute to show up in chat, so I'd spend like 20 minutes fighting with it before I even went live, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm not doing this anymore. It's too much aggravation at this point because it's not doing what it was supposed to. So I kind of gave up on that. If you all want to listen to music, I'm listening to music in my ears. I don't have it coming through the stream though. So if you all want to listen to something, feel free to queue up whatever it is that you enjoy listening to, whether that's Christmas songs today, since we're working on Christmas gifts, or if it's too soon for you, then you put on whatever it is that makes you happy. Where's my... oh, it's over here. I'm like, how does a paint color just fucking vanish? When you're Nisi and you sit it not with the rest of the paint, and that's how. That is how you do it. I am the master at losing things right the fuck in front of my face. Alright, so I'm just doing one last quick kind of scribble pass on the backs just to make sure that we're in all of our crevices here. Making sure we got any fingerprints covered up. Now, if I was making these for the shop, I might, I would have cleaned up the backs a little bit better. I probably would have tried to get that pattern off with some alcohol. These are both still kind of wet. So we'll try to fan these dry real quick on this side so that we can move on to the other side. Alright. I got some more demo done in Minecraft. It's really slow going though in the section that I'm at because it's a lot of sandstone. I was not quite prepared for how much sandstone filled this section that I'm in was. I figured, you know, the bottom half would probably be sandstone, but there's like a good chunk that's just solid sandstone, and I was like, oh, I've gone through so many picks. Like, I stopped filling in the ground with sand just to try to save me time since I don't know where the roads are gonna go now, because I'm like, well, you know, I might be wasting time filling the ground in with sand, so I'm not getting any stone back out of it. I do have stone nearby if I run out of cobblestone that's already mined, so I found a couple of pieces of cobblestone, well, stone that turned into cobblestone when I was mining the section I'm currently in, but I was sort of expecting there to be more, and this section is pretty much solid sandstone. I mean, it's good for us because it means we'll have plenty of stone to build with, but I did finish the surface lava, so I'll be moving smelting operations down into the mine. So I'm just drying my brush here after we got that all nice and cleaned up. Alright. So let me sit this somewhere. You stay there. You're gonna roll all over the place. Alright. Well, let me grab my photo. My sample photo from the paint by number. And we'll start to try to move the drying process along here a little bit. And then we'll flip these guys over and start to work on their fronts. Just don't want all of the work that we've put into on the backside of them to be destroyed when we flip them over, you know? I mean, we did put the paint on a little bit heavier this time, so just want to make sure that we're good and dry. This paint really doesn't take that long to dry. It's just craft paint. Depending on how thick you do it, it just usually takes a few minutes. And this is just, you know, the inexpensive craft paint. It's really nothing all that special. Alright, so chickens. Still look a little damp in a couple spots on the almost dry ones, so we're getting there. We are getting there. And you can tell when this paint's dry because it's craft paint. It dries flat. It's not anything special. So if it's still shiny, it's not like the Arteza that dries shiny. So if it's a little shiny in spots, then it's probably still wet in those spots. Alright, put my paint by number sample back there. Alright, see, like, you're still a little wet right in there, but alright, so let's get to putting on our base coat on the front, and the coat on the front doesn't have to be grand, because we're gonna do other colors on top of it. This is just so that we can have another color to work with. This my big old fingerprint is right there in the front of it. Come on, paint. There we go. So again, just a quick base coat on this side before we get down into the nitty-gritty of it. Kind of looks a little wood grain, doesn't it? A little bit. Alright, you, my friends, gonna go over there. Alright, next chicken. Rooster. I'm already covered in brown paint. Fabulous. Oh well. It's not an art stream unless I'm covered in some kind of paint product. Or something. Paint, glue, you know. Gotta get messy. If you're doing traditional art, you're gonna get messy. To some degree. At least if you're me. That might be why I don't like doing digital art that much, because I don't get messy. I don't have any battle scars to show for the thing that I just did. Alright, so this shade, or this coat, is going to be much, much lighter because we only did the one coat. And it's not dry. Alright, next chicken. Next, chicky. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to grab my detail brushes that I had actually pulled out for the paint by number, so that works. The paint by number is acrylic, which was also surprising to me. Last time I did paint by numbers, they were oil. And I know there still are oil ones out there. But the oil ones would also have the oil paint smell to them. Although, you know, paint by number, it wasn't as bad as like honking globs of oil paint out on a palette, but you know, they did have a scent. I mean, the acrylic paint has a small scent to it, but it's not terrible. Alright, who's the next driest? Not you. You. Okay. Alright. So, as usual, I probably put too much paint down this time. Because that's what I do. But at least this paint is a lot cheaper compared to the Arteza paint, so it's okay. This paint, while it still hurts to waste a little bit of it, it's not as painful as the more expensive paints. And you two just don't want to dry. Alright, well, we're on parchment, so hopefully you don't stick too bad to it. So we will just keep going here. I've got a fuzz in there. Alright. And it does look a little bit wood grainy with this brush. On that first layer. This is paint, I swear, and this is clay. Oh, my neck just popped. Alright, so slide you over to your roost, I guess. Alright. And oh, hi, Mr. Fuzzle, you're a big one. Get out of there. Alright. So, do you guys have any favorite artists that you like to listen to during Christmas? Any go-to Christmas songs that it's just not Christmas if you don't hear it? Do you even celebrate Christmas? Hanukkah starts today. I was surprised. I don't think I ever remember Hanukkah starting in November. Happy Hanukkah, you guys. For friends that may celebrate that. I was shocked when I saw it on the calendar. Like, we were trying to figure out if we had coupons that were still usable. And I realized, oh wait, the calendar's still like on August in the kitchen. And, don't buy us calendars. We never change the day, the month on them. Unless they're pretty and I just want the pictures, but I don't actually remember to change the calendar. And it's not in a convenient spot to change it either. So, but, yeah, no, I was looking to see what the date was last night, and, I was like, oh, shit. First night of Hanukkah. What? In November? That seems so weird to me. Okay. So, front base coat's done. So, that chicken. Oh, I have to stretch out my legs. I'm all bunched up here. Okay. So, you are gonna go there. And we're gonna get this guy. This guy might be small enough. Alright, so I have my reference photo for the last chicken I did. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to pull this off going so small. We will see. How this goes. The paint's getting glumpy. Come on. I really didn't want that much of you out, but okay. When the craft paint starts to get a little bit older, it starts to get kind of glumps in it, so a lot will come out inadvertently. Alright, so work on getting this top section painted in. I'm trying to go in one direction for the most part. Alright, so let's start to work on that section. I know I'm kind of zoomed out, but I'm just painting the edges here. Trying to paint the edges. This is going to get hit with a brighter red here in a minute. I just try to base coat this in the darker red. In a vain attempt to try to build up some shadowy things. Okay. That is very dark, but that's okay, because we will make it not quite so dark here. Fairly soon. Okay. Now, does anything else get this shade of red? Oh, actually, the whole face does. On my reference photo, so thought that looked a little strange. So yeah, that kind of looks about right. And okay, that looks a little more correct. Or a little bit closer to my reference at the very least. Alright, any place else. The other places are just kind of feathery sections, so we'll get to you later. Actually, I think we will zoom in just a little bit. Just so we can see it a little bit better. Okay. So it's kind of tough to see the edge being painted. So this was done with the cookie cutter that I had bought. I'd gotten a set of 3. This size has been committed to art now. I will not use it for food. I don't care how well you wash it. If you use it with clay, it's going to be a clay tool from now on. That's just me. I got 2 other sizes that I can use on cookies if I so choose. I probably could have gotten a single cookie cutter, but some of the reviews were a little bitchy about how the cookie cutters were flimsy and they were unbending really easily, and I'm like, is this because it's a tin cookie cutter and you all don't know how to handle a tin cookie cutter? Or is it really that flimsy sort of situation, you know? Because the tin cookie cutters are not... You have to be delicate with them. They're not like plastic. You can't just like bang them around and fiddle with them. Any of the tin cookie cutters are gonna be bent out of shape. So I was confused. At least the cheaper ones, and these were cheap, so not like they were super ultra expensive copper cookie cutters. I mean, you know, if you're looking for an under $10 cookie cutter, you've got to expect that it's under $10 for a reason. Just saying. Your expectations should be matching the cost of the item. They could have also been fake reviews. I don't know. I don't remember if it said verified purchase next to them or not. Because there are those individuals that will go out there and put shit reviews on stuff because they're bored. Don't do that. That's not nice. And a real dick thing to do. So since we're doing this in burgundy, it's going to be a little bit darker at first, but we're going to come back and hit it with tomato red. Just, I do remember doing this the last time I did a chicken rooster. In fact, I had planned on starting a little bit sooner today because I knew we had some detail stuff to do, but I was having trouble finding the colors that I remembered using last, so I think I've found the majority of them, or at least close enough, so Now, even though this is a dark color, you can see it's, well, I can see, I don't know if you can see. It is a little transparent. Which is why we're doing quite so many coats. I mean, so a lot of times you think, oh, it's a dark color, it'll be opaque. That's not always the case. Not all the time. And you know, the cheaper paint, it's gonna be thinner. And there's nothing wrong with the cheaper paint, you just keep in mind you might have to do a couple of coats if that's the color that you want it to be, so allow for drying time in between your coats, because if you try to do this while it's still wet and build it up while it's still wet, it's gonna just, because of the surface it's on, it's just going to pull the paint off. So that's something else to keep in mind there. All right. So, are you guys done your Christmas shopping? Did you even start? Are you celebrating Christmas? Husband and I aren't doing specific gifts for each other at Christmas. I'm gonna be attempting to get him the stuff to redo his fire pit. When I get my next Twitch payment, but that probably won't be until sometime after the first of the year. Probably won't be until maybe February. For when I get that money. Because I gotta make it first, so. Unless we have some shop sales happening, it won't be until then. Alright. Get this worked in here. I mean, we're not going to be able to go super detailed, but we can try. Next chicken. Rooster. I know I keep calling it a chicken. It's a rooster. Oh, that's still wet in there. How about that? Alright, I do have it kind of off screen because I needed to see the top. That's not one bad thing. There we go. With being zoomed in. I'm actually looking under my glasses when I'm doing this small stuff up close. I've tried looking through my glasses and holding them further away, but it feels wrong, so... My glasses are more for distancey things. All right. I'm getting those done. I've got one more rooster after this one. To get this shade on. Alright, and then get this little... I feel like I'm painting Chicken Boo. I feel like I'm putting like little red Rambo bandanas around their heads. Like, obviously I'm not, because Chicken Boo was white, but it just feels like that's what I'm doing. Alright. Get that on there. Okay, slide you up there. And we'll get this color. Put in on our edges. I might not be painting both sides, but I'll at least kind of clean up the edge. I lost my edge for a second. I'm like, wait, is that the beak? No, we're good. Okay, that's the beak. And it really wouldn't be a big deal if I did paint that red by accident, because we still have to paint the beak anyway. Okay. So we'll get that in there. Alright. Get that top part painted in. And then we'll do this again with the bright red. Okay. So that color is done. Make sure you clean your brush really good. And I'm gonna dry it off on my towel. Our poor paint towel. I still need to run that through the washer. Alright. Next color gonna be, oh, animal fur everywhere. So that looked white. We don't have any white cats. Alright. That came out a little bit easier. All right. So we will grab our brighter red. All right, who was the first one done? I feel like it was you. Okay. So again, I'm just gonna hit the edges here. Sorry, I've got like fuzz in the corner of my vision, and I'm like, what am I looking at? It was stuff where the sticker used to be on this paintbrush. Alright. So let's get this painted in now. Now it's probably going to look darker. Because we've got that darker color under it. So we'll see. How this is gonna go. All right. So I'm looking at my reference photo, and yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to go as detailed as that one. I can't remember if we painted that one on stream or not. I think we did. I feel like we did. I could be wrong though. Time tends to blend together on me after a while, so. Alright. So we'll let you think about things for a minute and start your drying process. Hang on. My eye feels glumpy. Our allergies have been terrible. The past few days. So the humidifier is only doing so much, but you know what? We've been working them overtime. I've been keeping the one running constantly in our room. And I think it's been helping to a degree. Like, there's only so much it's gonna be able to do. It's not suddenly gonna make my allergies vanish, but I think I've been having a slightly easier time dealing with them. Like, I'm still getting the nasty scabby snot at times, but I haven't had a full-on nosebleed, I think, since we started using them, so yay. And I have had to run the space heater a little bit in our room, because we haven't been able to tell if Momo's cold. I mean, some days we were cold, but Momo has yet to get back on the bed since he came off his medication, so I don't know if he's just scared about getting on the bed now, because that's how he originally hurt himself, was trying to get up there. But I also don't know if he just can't push off very well with his back legs anymore. He can still get up. He gets up to go potty, but he might just be scared now. We put the footstool in, so they didn't have as far to jump to get on the bed now. But he hasn't even attempted to use it. And you know what? As long as he's happy, or as happy as he can be, he's still excited about treats. Zuzu, Russell took him out to go potty earlier, and I heard him start barking, and I was like, that's odd. What the fuck is he barking at? And then Momo kind of sat up and was looking at the door, kind of like, what's wrong? And I heard Russell bringing him back in. Russell's like, there's a dog in our driveway, and I was like, oh. So Russell went to investigate the dog, and I quick threw shoes on and took the leash off of Zuzu and was going to bring it to Russell. And, because we didn't know if we had to try to corral the dog, although animal control doesn't work on Sunday. So I don't know what we would have done with the dog. I mean, we do have a pen in the backyard. I don't know if it would try to jump it. It's not a very high-walled pen. But I went out to find Russell to bring the leash to him, and he was already way in the backyard, and I was like, where'd they go? And he's like, oh, there was two of them. And he goes, they were traveling together, and he said they wouldn't come to me, and they went about their way, and I'm like, okay. They seemed to be on a mission and seemed to know where they were going. I mean, we tried, but by the time I got out there, they weren't even in view anymore. Sorry, I need to find a comfortable position to sit in. My body is not happy today. All of the aches ever. We had another weather front go through last night, or it's going through today or something. And it's going to warm up again for a few days, and then it's going to go back to being icky cold again. And I'm like, can we stop with the back and forth, please? My joints don't like this anymore. Too many past bumps and bruises. Feeling these pressure changes. And I don't like it at all. No, I don't. Oh, I already did the side on that one. Okay. Okay, we grab this guy. Okay. So let's try to brighten you up a bit. And it does bring it up a little bit. I mean, it's gonna dry a little bit darker because it's on a darker color. So I might try to hit that one more coat on this. We will see. Be nice if my one eye would stop trying to tear up on me. Oh, I missed a spot. Missed a spot with the dark color there. All right. I mean, it probably would have been easier just to buy her a rooster ornament, but you know, we didn't really have any money to spend on a lot of gifts this year. And I think we've gotten away, like, we as a society, from doing handmade gifts. And I don't think they're as appreciated anymore. But we've started a tradition now where the parentals usually get some kind of art gift. At least one of them. Of some description. But Russell's handling his mom's art gift this year. I was gonna do something, but like I said earlier, things changed. At least as of right now, they've changed. I'm still having a mental war over it, but for the amount of time it would take me to do hers, I don't know. There's lots of reasons going on for it. Alright. There's you. And the last one for the first coat. On this color. I might do one more quick pass on this color. Because it still feels a little dark. I think I'd like it to be just a little bit brighter. We will see. Just getting the edges here. I think I'm in frame. I'm kind of in frame. I'm on the edge of the frame. As I'm watching the burgundy somehow manage to seep into all of the other colors. It's performing its own magic trick over here. Alright, just trying to make sure that we don't get it a little too glumpy. Trying to smooth out the brush strokes where I can. Alright. So, I'm not going to hit the edges as much this time. Just want to kind of just get one last pass on these guys. And I could put a little bit of white into that, but then I think it's going to be a little too pink. Alright. So just doing one last pass on this color. So what do you guys want for Christmas? What are you asking Santa for? Whoever your Santa happens to be. I asked for my needle felting stuff. And Russell asked for some candy making stuff. And apparently, according to Russell, Santa grabbed me a couple extra things that were tiny that I didn't ask for. At least I didn't ask for them right now. So I'm confused. He's like, oh no, you've forgotten about them. He's like, but I remembered. And I'm like, what? So I can only imagine what on earth Santa remembered that I mentioned in passing. Alright. So like I said, we're just doing a quick last pass on this color. Not going to worry about the sides this time because we've already gotten this color down in on the sides. Okay. So one last, you stay over there. Well, this one's still wet. Okay. So we'll be gentle. So it still has a section that's a little wet. So I must have left that a little bit thicker in that spot. And that's fine. Okay, so we'll clean up that brush. Alright, and grab our towel. And we're going to go ahead and dry that off. Alright, so should probably do the beak next. So the beak we're gonna do in this desert sand color. So I don't want too much paint on here. We do have a tiny spot that we need to fill in. Sorry, there was a fuzz. It's like, oh, we need to grab that. So this is kind of like a cross between a tan and a cream. Kind of like a very light tile grout color. Very light grout color. Okay, so I am going to take a little bit of this and start to paint in our eyeball. Like I said, we're so small that it's gonna be tough to, sorry, my knee's killing me. It's gonna be a little tough to get in here. and get a whole lot of detail done, but all right. I do need to go back and add a little bit more on the on our red section, but I also want to make sure that that has completely dried. There's two. So I'm trying to make sure I get some kind of something that resembles a point on here, just so that I'm not making a completely ginormous mess with this. We're sort of getting somewhere here. Alright. So my eyes all look a little bit different. That's fine. It's gonna happen. Handmade stuff. It's to be expected. So what do you guys decorate your trees with? Do you even put up a tree? Do you do lights? If you do lights, do you do colored lights? Do you do white lights? Or no lights? Do you have a strict policy of handmade ornaments only? Do you have a tradition of buying a new ornament that reflects something that happened for the year? Or do you just have a tradition of buying a single new ornament that you like? I always am curious when I lose a follower on Twitch. Do you not like the content anymore? Did something change? Did you just close your Twitch account? Were you really a bot and you just got banned? Like, I'm curious. Do you not like something I've done? Or is this not the content you signed up for? Oh, we messed up that eye pretty bad. Okay. That's not too terrible. So I don't know how many passes we'll have to do on the beaks. We might leave it at one pass, I don't know. Like, I know subs will come and go because not everybody has money all of the time, and I get that. We still need to work on the new emote slots. We just haven't had the time. My husband's been too busy playing Cooking Simulator.
What was that, smartass?
I said we haven't had the time to work on the new emotes for the channel yet. And we haven't, and you've been too busy playing Cooking Simulator.
That's what I thought, smartass.
He never listens until
suddenly start talking smack? Yeah. Funny that.
any other time. I can't even get his attention. He tunes me out entirely. Okay, just doing one more quick touch up on the beaks. And the eyes. Just kind of making sure that's the shade I'm looking for. Just kind of cleaning up the brush strokes too. This one still needs to get a touch up. Like, we've started a tradition where I'm gonna try to make a new ornament for the tree every year. I'm not sure if he's gonna participate in this one. I would like him to, but we'll see. We will see. If I end up getting some flamingo cutouts, I might need to stop in Walmart. Well, we might have some. I need to see if I have any black felts, because we'll do some Russell flamingos and we'll stick top hats on a few. Depends on what our budget looks like. Okay. Tried to take out the brush strokes and I left more than was there the first time. Okay. So I'm gonna clean up my brush from that color. And so these are gonna take a little bit more time since they're a little bit more involved, shall we say. My one eye is just so watery today. My sinuses have not been good today. Okay. Now, let me check out our reference photo here. Okay, I actually did miss grabbing a color. Out of my bucket. Alright. So we're actually gonna go back into the burgundy. Alright. Come here, chicken. Okay. This curl is bugging the crap out of me. Alright, so we're gonna, how far down? So I'm gonna come in with the burgundy. And I'm okay with brush strokes in this part. This is a section that's okay if they happen. Okay. Sorry, I'm just checking my reference photo here. Trying to see how far down I need to come. Actually, that's pretty far down. This is just the base coat of this particular color. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some of this burgundy again, and I'm gonna hit this back side here. Okay, so that's just the base color. I'm gonna clean up my brush real quick. We're gonna grab the next color, because the colors need to lay on top of each other. I'm going backwards at the moment, just to get the bases in, and then we'll fix it when we come back. So this is the color Hay, Hay. Just a bit of a yellowy color. How far down does this come? So maybe it's not that big of a section. And then we've got another, like that's not actually going to be burgundy in that section, but okay, so this is kind of another color in there. Hang on, I need to bring my photo forward just a second. So it's not going to be 100% exact because, like I said, we've got we're a bit more scrunched. And then that's a different color in there. And then that's pretty much a different color there. Okay. Just kind of getting in where our bases need to go. I'm not going to fuss too hard on the bases. But they'll start to make a bit more sense here soon. So I'm going to put the base colors in, and then we're going to work backwards a little bit. Okay. Can't forget this section back in here. Okay. So we've got that section, and then we actually have some burgundy again, but this section's actually going to remain burgundy. So this section, again, just putting in the base colors here. Because the feathers have to lay down on top of each other. So as soon as I get our base colors in, then we'll come back with final passes and get those feathers laying in. Did I skipped a section. Oops. I'm like, wait, that doesn't look right. Because we skipped a section. Alright, so I'm gonna do one of these fully in one go. So I have an idea of what the hell I'm doing. Because I've not worked on this small of a scale in a while. I've never done this small of a chicken, actually. Rooster, whatever. This is, what is this? This is ocean blue. I think, alright, and this is gonna be our moccasin color. Or we could go, no, you know what, let's go rich brown and we'll do moccasin on the top for our lighter colors. We need another little flower palette here. All right. So we'll get this striped in. Again, these are all base coats. All right. So we've got that, and then we're actually gonna have whatever this color, when we get that done, it's gonna repeat here. Oh, that's not the color I wanted. So we need to go back into our burgundy. And bring that down in here. And okay, I'm looking at my colors here. So this section is going to be a mix of a couple of colors. All right. So since we're back to having an edge again, we'll hit that one. Oh, I forgot to do that color, and it's edgy color. Alright. I know it looks a little ugly at the moment, but it'll start to make sense. Promise. Alright, where was... Okay, so this is black. Okay, so the tail's a little differently shaped than the last one I did, so I'm gonna grab some black paint here. We've got a couple sections of that. And we'll start to work on this guy in. Now, yeah, okay. Just making sure I'm where I think I am on this guy. Okay. We're gonna need to do our edge. Now the edges I'm probably only really gonna hit the one time. Just for where they need to be done. I know this looks like a hot mess, but bear with me. We'll get there. I promise, it's a journey with these things because the way the feathers needed to lay. Because it's not going to look right. If we go top to bottom, it's just not. So grab this. And since this is going to have colors built up on it, I am just kind of stroking in real quick here. A suggestion of where these guys will probably be. For the most part. Now, just checking my photo. That really sounded like somebody was walking on our front porch. And there really shouldn't be anyone on our front porch. I don't think my computer will enjoy me bringing up the camera right now, though, with so much other shit going on, so. Alright. So let me get that to set up. We'll do the foot here, too, while we're waiting there. Alright, so let's get our foot. Oh shit, I grabbed the wrong color. Oops, doodles. Not the color I wanted to grab. I wanted to grab our beak color. So, whoops. My bad. That's okay. It's fixable. Not the end of the world. Okay, so I am just gonna get our footy foot painted in here. All right. So footy foot's probably gonna need another pass here, since I grabbed the wrong color. That's okay. Alright, so while that's drying, we're gonna grab a little bit of the black, a little tiny bit, and we're gonna very shakily put in our beak line and our eyeball, and our nose. Okay. Grab a little tiny bit more black. So actually, we're probably just going to make this like a gray. Make this a mixture of that sand color and the black. And we'll give some little speckly things in here. Okay. So I kind of have to go back and forth a little bit. With the black and the sand color. Okay. I'm really not happy with this foot at all. Not at all. Although yellow and black is going to make a green foot now. Okay, it wasn't too bad. we'll grab a little bit more of that yellow just to kind of get a hint of that. Worked in there. It's very faintly like a yellow gray. Alright. Still really like wanted the separation in there, but that's fine. Okay, so this one, we're gonna come back into our black. And work on getting that one in. I'm just making sure that's had enough time to dry. And we'll get this one painted in here. Okay, now, while that is drying, I'm going to come back in and grab our dark green color, well, our dark bluish green. And start to put in this. Kind of see it. I may need to come in a little bit further. There we go. It's a little better. It's gonna dry a little bit darker, but that's okay. Just getting our tail feathers laid in here. And it's perfectly fine to have some of the black underneath shining through. In fact, we kind of want that. So don't cover it all. I know it's gonna feel like you need to, and a lot of it might get covered inadvertently, but you don't need to try to cover all of it. Now I actually have a few more colors that I want to work into this, so I'm gonna have to grab my second palette here. So we're gonna grab some of that. I'm gonna try to get some of the crunchy crusties out of there so we don't pick them up just a little bit on this color, because you don't need a lot of it. And I'm not even gonna clean my brush for this. This is fine. You don't really have to wait for this to dry. You can go in on top of this other color, because it's fine if these colors merge a little bit. You don't want a heavy hand here. Like, you just want to barely be touching. All right. Okay, and I've got one more shade that I'm gonna pop in there. So that shade was Island Green. And I could add, actually, yeah, I'm gonna not do that color. So I'm gonna take a little bit of white. This white is super watery. This bottle of white, I think, is rather older. Based off of how glumpy it is. Alright, so I'm gonna take some of our ocean green or ocean blue, whatever color it was. Gonna mix just a little bit of white in it. Not a whole lot. Alright. And I'm just gonna hit this in a couple spots. Oh, that was a little heavy. Especially for this color, I didn't want the lines quite that thick on that one. Alright, so there's that color. So our butt's done. Now, this next section, you're gonna want to wipe your brush off for this one. Alright, so where'd that, there it is. So, I'm gonna mix that burgundy color in with some pumpkin and maybe some brown. Let's see what we can do here. Alright. So I'm gonna dip back into our burgundy. And just start to work that back in. Now I'm trying to use the same way we did the tail there. Just with the line strokes. Now I'm going to come back into our pumpkin. And I'm going to take some of the pumpkin on my brush. And then I'm going to take some of the burgundy. I'm going to mix those two together. Kind of like 1-to-1. Alright, so I'm going to come back in. And start to hit that. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the pumpkin without anything mixed into it and start to stroke that in a little. Okay. Alright, and then I'm just going to grab a little bit more of the straight burgundy. Okay, so that, I mean, you can just kind of play with back and forth till you get it to a color combo that you are happy with. Okay, so we're gonna rinse there. Actually, I just saw section that I want to cut up there. Okay, and actually we could even grab a little bit of that hay color not much, just a little bit, just to give some of those a little bit of color. Alright, now for our next section, we're gonna grab that rich brown again. I'm gonna come in and start to put that in. And I am coming up into that greenish blue color, and that's fine. Now there were a bit more details on my reference photo, but we're not gonna end up getting quite that detailed on it, so I'm gonna grab some of that color that we base coated this guy in. Work that in. And I'm going to grab a little bit of our white. If I can find part of it that's not glompy. And I'm just going to mix a slightly lighter shade of this brown. Just kind of work that in a little bit on top. Okay. So, time to rinse the brush again. Alright, I'm gonna grab our black again and just make sure that I'm happy with how that is lining up in here. Alright. We'll get that in there. Okay, so this section I think was similar to the tail. So I think that section, it's hard to tell, my reference photos not the greatest. I think there's a little bit of this shade kind of worked into the black. It's not that noticeable. It's mostly black in this section. Alright. So there's that, and then just want to rinse that real quick before we come back in. With that color again. And see, we want to bring it down on top of the color that's underneath of it. So like this is sitting on top of these brown feathers here. So that's why I was saying we were gonna have to come back in and kind of layer this up. So and since it is still wet, you might need to reload in your next color a little bit more often because they're gonna blend together a little bit. Oh wait, was that the I don't know if that was the right color. Well, that's the color it's gonna be now. I think that was the right color. When you don't mix a lot at once, it's probably going to dry on you. You don't really need a lot of this light color. Probably really don't want that much of it. It's going to end up overpowering the other colors in there. Alright, so next section is more of just the burgundy, really. It's almost straight burgundy. But not quite. Be careful because this color's still wet. So if you might want to give it a minute before you start dragging your red on top of it. Alright, now I've got a couple light spots in there, so I'm gonna take some more of the white and a little bit of the burgundy and mix them together. Just trying to repoint my brush here. Alright. Just gonna drag that through. I know it looks a little pink. That's okay. Alright, and I am gonna grab just a teeny tiny dab of that hay color. Don't want a whole lot of it. I'm gonna try to blend that in just a little bit. And I'm actually gonna come back in with the burgundy just a touch. Back on top. So like I said, this is going to be kind of a bit of a back and forth till you get the shading to where you're happy. Alright, so we're going to grab our hay color. Come back in with that. And remember, you kind of want to bring that at least a little bit over the edge, so it's not quite so uniformly just stopped where the colors meet. You kind of want to give the feeling of layers of feathers sitting on top of each other. So there might be a couple longer feathers here and there. if it's a lighter color, then it might take a couple of coats. And I don't know why I just heard somebody talking loudly. Our neighbors are not usually outside that much. Alright, so I've got this vanilla cream color. I'm gonna add that. Oh, I grabbed two of the same. Really? Yeah, I grabbed two of the same bottom. I don't know why I did that. We don't need to. Alright, let's see if I can get the crunchy dried bit off the top there. Alright, just to get it out of the way. Alright, so we're gonna grab that. And we're gonna start to work that in. Alright. So these guys do take a little bit more time since there's so much more to them. It's not just like the ones we did for my dad where we could just you know, put the paint on. There wasn't that much detail we did on those ones. Alright. So we've got this guy kind of sitting in here, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of that light brown base coat color, and I'm gonna just put a little bit of that in here. Not a whole lot. I just want to get a little bit of some shadowy thingies worked in here. And I've got a little section here. It's being a little stubborn, so I'm gonna cover that in a little bit of our color here. And then I'm gonna go back into our hay color. Get a little bit more of our yellow worked in there. And then I'm just gonna hit that just a little bit more. Like I said, it does take a little bit of blending. You don't want to blend it too hard though. I mean, a little bit of blending is okay. Alright. And then we'll grab our burgundy again. So this is going to be similar to this section over here. So we'll start to stroke that in. deeply nervous about this very large bubble drip dot of water. It's on the edge of my paintbrush there. Alright. So we've kind of got that brought down a little bit there. We're going to grab a little bit of that brown color. And start to work that in a little bit. And then we'll grab our orange. Our very bright orange. It's okay, we'll mix those two together here and get those worked in. You okay?
Yeah, I swapped my back because I let her out early in the morning and Cal was nonstop meowing.
Oh, I didn't hear him. Alright. So let's grab some more of the burgundy. Alright. So like I said, it really is a lot of back and forth to get them to where you want them to be. Okay. All right. So there's one chicken. Okay. So let's grab our next chicken. So we'll give that one a chance to dry. We'll have our example sitting right there. Alright. So let me grab our black. Let's see. So they probably won't be completely exact to each other. And that's fine. It's gonna happen. Like, your hand doing stuff, they're not all gonna be 100% spot on to each other. Alright. So again, we're just doing quick cover on the tail. Get those worked up there. Alright, so we're gonna get that fuzz out of there, for starters. And then we'll work on getting our edges. Now remember, I'm not gonna fuss the edges too much because we're not that worried about the edges, but we are at least gonna get the right color. worked in there as I put my finger in the wet paint. Good job. Alright. Try not to leave a black fingerprint on everything. Alright. So let's work on finishing up our edge there and recovering my lovely fingerprint. Okay. Again, I'm not gonna hit that too hard because we're gonna have all these other layers of paint on there. Okay, where was our next? Black section. About there. Probably came a little bit high on that one, but nothing for it now. It's there now. So let's keep on going here. All right. So we'll just get our quick coat of black on this section. Okay, and did we have black anywhere else? I don't, not specifically. Okay. So we will go back and do, well, I guess we can just get it now. Cat, what are you knocking over? Really? Cat really wanted to be in that box. Okay. Alright, so there's the black on that one. And now that we have our one sample done, we can just kind of quickly move through our base coating. Sometimes it just helps to do one super thought out and think about how we want to approach it, and then we can move quicker through the other ones because we already know how we want to approach it. So we'll get this stuff put in there. So if there's a project you'd like me to try, if it's within my financial means to try it, I will see about it. You know, like, I can't do, like, pottery wheels and shit for that. I don't have the money for that. But if you'd like to have me try to paint something, I can. Just have to let me know. I've got some more projects coming, but those are going to revolve around the needle felting, so those I can't start till after Christmas. Alright. So let's figure out where we want to bring this in. Alright. Like I said, they're not all going to be in the same exact position, and that's fine. What are we barking at?
What's going on?
I think Little's in the box where P-Butt is. And I don't know if they're messing with Zuzu or preventing him from getting by. He's weird sometimes. Sometimes he'll act like he wants to play with the cats, but then when the cats start swinging, he gets all nervous. And I'm like, well, buddy, what do you expect? Like, it's a kitty. It's gonna swing at you. So, I almost upended that entire cup of water. That would not have been good. Just realized I missed that back section. What's wrong?
Oh, he's being weird because your mom's making food and he's like trying to beg for it and also get past the cats. In fact, Little's might have been in that box because now he's sniffing at it.
Somebody knocked it on its side. It had been sitting upright. Okay, so there's another base coat done on that one. Alright. Alright. Get this worked in, and then we can do our mixed colors all at once because they are drying out a bit. Because detail takes time. That's just the way it is. So I don't know if we're going to finish all of these on stream today. I might have to finish these off stream later tonight. But if I start to... Well, no, actually, we might call it soon. Because I'm deeply uncomfortable. But I was hoping to get at least more than one done, but you know what? We can at least seal that one. I just won't put much sealer out. And I can put the hanger on that one. And I can post a picture on Twitter, leader of them all done. If it comes to it, I mean, I don't want to completely bail before we've finished, but I'm looking at how long it took to do the first one. And what time it is. And we'll probably be here like another 2 hours to finish these. I don't know. We'll see how hungry I get. Because I will have to make my dinner at some point. Okay. Oh, that was a little... I shorted that one a little bit more than I had planned on. Okay. So, me... Oh, I didn't do your eyeball. Come back. I need to do the eyeball. Need to do our nostril. And our eyeball. Okay. So, no, don't smudge the eyeball. Or the nostril, please. We don't want a smudgy nose. Okay. So. Get that worked in. And we don't have to be super careful when we're putting in the black on the tail feathers. We need to be a little bit careful. We don't want to paint half the chicken rooster the wrong color. But it's not like we have to be super, super picky for everything's placement. All right. And you'll have to be a little bit careful on the edges. But that's a given. All right. So let's get our next section blocked in here. That's a little low, I think. Maybe not, but So we have to be a little bit more careful in this section. We've got a few more things happening in this area. Gonna be sirens coming through in a minute, maybe. Ambulance going by. Okay. So. And the base coat's the only color I'm gonna worry too hard about on the edges of that colors section. So. Because we're not really going to be looking at the side here. Alright. So I'm going to re-point my brush here. Keep messing up my beaks here. The steadiness of my hand is getting a little bit worse for wear here as I've gone on. I got that one okay, but everybody else is kind of a hot mess. I might try to clean those guys up. A bit more when we get down to detailing them. Alright. So I will try. Well, I don't know if I'm going to post these on Kofi. I might. I don't know yet. I might post these at the very least. Don't know if I'm going to post the photo of the boats. Alright. Get this worked in around our edge here. This is going to have a few layers of colors, so if it's being a little streaky, don't stress it too much. Alright. So let's get that there. Okay. So let's see, maybe here. Oh, that one's got a little divot in them. He's going to be a little extra fussy. You can always find those divots once you start putting the paint in. Alright. So we'll do that. We'll start getting our other colors in here soon. It's just we had a lot of black to put in, so just wanted to get that put in and give that a chance to dry while we're working on everybody else and things and stuff. Alright, so let's get some of that. Let's see if my hand can... Alright, that one was better. That was definitely better. Okay, so that one was better than some of the other ones. Some of the other ones we might have to redo here. Alright, so this is still our base sample that we're working off of. Let me clean up my brush. Get that black paint all out of there. Try to, at least. Alright. Don't know how well this is gonna clean up here. Might clean up a little bit. Alright. So, next color. Alright, we're gonna need our burgundy. Jeez, more sirens. My goodness. I wonder what is happening. Sounds like more ambulances. Time of day, the sun. Is the sun fully down? No, the sun's fully down. Hope there wasn't an accident. Alright, so we're gonna get our burgundy color painted in here. Okay. And that painted in on the edge. Okay, so that's gonna be burgundy. How far down did our burgundy come? So like about there. Alright, so we're just kind of blocking in our bases here for the other roasters. Alright. And just gonna hit that edge there. Alright. Was that it for the... No. Maybe from here to say Alright, so we get that one blocked in too. Okay. I'm torn between just wanting to finish each one now as we go. Alright, so let me clean up that color. Switch out our palettes. Okay. Start to put in these guys. Should be in frame, yeah. So it might be a little bit of a glare as the paint is still wet. But as we have that dry, then it should tone down that glare a bit. Now this color might start to disappear a bit because it is a bit darker, and that's okay if it does. Alright, so while that shade is doing its thing, gonna put this one's base coat in here. And we'll work on that. Okay. And again, we'll start to put in those ones. Now this one, I feel like it needs a little bit more black because these ones aren't quite in your face in that section. So, alright, I'm gonna rinse. We're gonna grab our other light color. And start to feather that in. Alright. Get this guy worked in. And again, they're not all gonna be completely identical. And that's okay. Don't really want them to be completely identical. Alright, so I'm gonna get a little bit more of the well, I'm gonna try to find some non-glompy white here. And we'll grab some of our dark color. Maybe a little bit more of the dark color. Just kind of tap those two together. Alright. Oh, wrong one. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, this one doesn't really look like it needs it. It's because that's the finished one. Alright. So we'll get this one put in here. And if you start to feel like maybe you got carried away with one of your other colors, you can always come back in with one of your darker colors and retouch it. That's fine. Like I said, a lot of this is going to be back and forth till you get it to where you are satisfied with it. But looking at how many more chickens to go, I think we are going to pause on that one. We're going to grab this one. I'm going to grab my sealer. So it says to shake it lightly. I'm just going to stir it. So I'm going to pull the thing off. I think if you shake it, you're gonna get some air bubbles in there. So I'm just gonna stir it real good, scrape the bottom as best as I can. Alright, now I don't want this dripping everywhere, so grab a tissue, just kind of work that off. Okay. Set that to the side. I need my bucket of brushes because I need our sealer brush. There it is. My poor janky brush that I use for just glue and sealer now because it's seen some things, most definitely here. And I have to keep giving it haircuts. Because I keep getting little tiny curls on it. Alright, so let's pour out a little bit of the sealer. Again, I don't want a whole lot of this. A little bit goes a long way. Alright, so we're going to start with the back. And it goes on clear but slightly frosted, like a little bit milky. So I mean, you can tell when it's still wet. And we're gonna hit this with 2 coats as soon as the first one dries. And you'll be able to tell when it's dry, no problem. It doesn't take that long. If you get any pulling over the edges, you might just want to grab that with your brush real quick. But you don't need to go that heavy with this. Really don't. Alright, So I'm gonna let that set up there for just a minute. And I'm gonna rinse out my brush real quick while that is drying. And dry my brush really good. Really, really good. Okay, so now we're gonna grab our burgundy again. Keep working on this one while that one is getting to the dryness level it needs for us to put on the next coat. Alright. So remember, we are working in a feather layer now, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna grab a little bit of our pumpkin color, a little bit of our burgundy color, and I'm gonna mix those guys together. You don't have to do that step. You could probably just use that moccasin color that we base coated these guys in, because that's pretty close to it actually. Or you can just kind of blend it on the piece itself. Again, that is an option for you. What was that?
Yeah, it sounded like.
Okay. Sounded kind of far away. Oh, can you feed PC, please?
Huh?
Can you feed PC?
Yeah.
I didn't feed him before I got started. I forgot.
Just.
Alright, so we'll get that tapped in, and then I'm not gonna rinse, but I am gonna knock off a lot of that blended color to come in and grab some of our non-blended pumpkin color here. We start to work that in. Alright. Okay, so that's pretty good there. Okay, so now I'm gonna rinse that.
Okay, Mama, you can get up.
Alright.
You're okay.
Okay, so now we're gonna grab some of our brown, or dark brown, and we're gonna start to work that in. Yeah, like Momo's afraid to get up now. Like he's like, if he notices that we've seen him get up, he's like, oh, I need to get back in my bed. He's being silly.
Want some turkey, Mama? Come. Look, our cats. Go. Baby. Come on, come.
I mean, I don't know if he's
Come to
just
that book.
hurting.
You were about ready to get up a moment ago. Oh, is it because Daddy's going to bring it to you? Is that what this is?
Like
I
Momo,
said, I half suspect it's because he knows I'll bring it to him and I'm not going to give him shit. Okay, how
Momo
about
is
foot?
smart enough
Foot?
where we're starting to wonder
Momo, foot.
if he's trying to pull sympathy points to get extra attention, or if he's like, we can't tell if he's hurting or not. So
Come on, Momo. Good foot.
okay,
Okay, last
so
one.
we'll get this one worked in,
Good foot.
and I suddenly don't remember what color we were Oh, I think I had used white. My white's getting very greenified here. Some of that. Just kind of tap those two together. Just to get some slightly lighter shades in there. Alright. So I think we'll do the foot and then we'll put the other coat of sealer on
You little rat.
the back.
You absolute rat.
What?
He sat there and made me bring him the food.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't get up and get it, and then I dropped some for the cat. And the little bastard got up and ate it off the floor. You rat.
Well, Daddy, it was just sitting there.
You rat. You're okay, Momo.
It's like, Daddy, you left it on the floor. I'm not about to let turkey scraps go to waste. And before anybody's like, turkey's bad for dogs, we don't put any seasoning on it. It's just straight turkey. There was like some salt and pepper on it. That was it. We don't go all the seasonings and butter and turkey rubs and all that. We just do. We're very simple people. So it was plain. It was fine. Alright, so I don't know if I'm going to get this foot to look the same as the other ones, because the other foot, the first foot kind of happened accidentally. So it ended up being sort of a gray blend. Inadvertently. Between the black and this beak color. And then we had some of the yellow. We kind of added in. So, not entirely happy with the foot, but, you know, we'll take what we can get. Alright, but since we're just going to be repeating the same stuff on the other one, I figured we'll get to where we're going with this. Alright, so this is still a little wet on the back. And that's fine. So this is ultra matte, so when it's fully dry, it shouldn't be shiny. So that's another clue for how you can tell if you are completely good to go. But because of all these grooves on the back, it's being a little extra, requiring a little extra dry time because it's getting down in the grooves, and the grooves are pulling off a little bit more of the sealer. That's why I'm saying you really don't need to go too heavy with it on your brush. Alright, so, and in fact in some spots it's kind of drying as I'm putting it on, so I'm just going to slide you over there. Again, I'm going to rinse my brush really good because it's going to be a few minutes before we can get back there, and I'm going to dry it really good on my towel. Okay, so come back here, chicken. Alright, so we've got, probably gonna have to put some more paint out here because this is starting to dry. So again, we want this to be feathered in. We kind of want it to sit irregularly on the layer below it. So that's, grab this. Try to remember not to go too heavy with your hands. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. Okay. I'm not gonna put too many highlights on that section because that is still pretty wet. Okay. So next section is more of our burgundy. So be careful because that other section there is really wet. So just so you're not pulling up that bluish green into the rest of your feathers. Oh, that kind of straight edged on me. What the heck? Okay, there we go. Alright, I didn't really have to do that. I don't need to check my... Okay, we did that. Did I? Oh, okay. I did do that. Alright, so we're gonna grab some of the burgundy and a little bit of our white. I'm probably gonna have to put some more of that down. Alright, so that's a little light. I'm gonna hit that with another pass on the burgundy itself. Okay. So I'm just gonna do a little tappy tap of that. Alright, and just a little bit. And I can't remember what this is called, a comb. Can't remember the technical term for it, but I know it looks a little bright. It'll dry a little bit darker in there. Alright, so start to work that in. Okay, and then I took a little bit, just a little bit of the hay color. Sorry, I just had a little bit much on there. Got a little bit nervous with how much I had on there. like, oof. Alright, and then just gonna grab a little bit more of our burgundy. Just hit that up a little bit more. Okay. And then we'll grab the hay color. Yeah, we'll have time to put in the next section here. Now I didn't base coat this one in yet. I'd really just wanted to get the black on everybody first because I want to make sure that's good and dry. Before I start moving in with the colors on everybody else. All right. So I need to get our edge on this guy. I hadn't gotten that color in on the edge yet, and the cleaning up on that beak did actually work a little bit, so it's not quite as janky. So I'll need to make sure I do that on the others there. All right. So again, just want to make sure that I am bringing this down on top of the other section there. Okay, well that color is drying. I'm gonna set you to the side. You're still not quite there. You're just about. Okay, so I'm gonna grab our cream. This isn't quite white. It looks white, but it's not. And this is gonna end up blending pretty hardcore into that yellow. And that's okay. Because in my reference photo, there's sections of this that look pretty damn white. Okay. Alright, let me check my reference here for how we did it. I think I took some brown to that next. Is what it looks like I did. Just to kind of tone that down just a little bit. Kind of get everybody to come together here. And I mean, we can go back in and lighten that up too, just a touch. if it looks a little too brown. Don't forget to make sure when you're layering in these colors to bring it down over the edge, because you don't want it to look like it just stops. Then that's going to be a little funny. Like, it's alright if you have a stray streak of color coming down a little bit further. Maybe that particularly shaded feather is about to fall off. Maybe there was a tussle. There was a barnyard tussle. Alright. So we'll keep on going down into here. Okay. Alright, so get that one cleaned up. And then we have our other section up here. Remember, be careful around the red that we put in around the eye and stuff. You don't want to get too carried away and destroy all that. Okay, so there's that color. Now this is, we need our pumpkin and our burgundy mixture. Just mixing another batch of that. Make sure you get those drips off there. You don't want them to actually run down and land on your piece, because that wouldn't be happy. All right, getting this kind of worked in there. I'm gonna grab some of our straight pumpkin. And we'll start to get those put in. And if it starts to look a little too orange for you, that's fine. Go ahead back in and grab a little more burgundy. All right. So there's another one done. So we'll slide you up there. I I think that's mostly how, well, actually that's a little bit brighter than I did on this one. So yeah, okay, so the shine went away, so that side is good. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab some of the sealer. Gonna do our edges. I don't want to go too heavy on the edges because I don't want it to be too glompy. Just make sure that you're checking that you didn't scrape off too much and that it's not all piled up on the back edge. Just so it doesn't stick to whatever you've got it sat on to dry. I have this sitting on a piece of parchment, so we didn't pick up any paint flakes from the board since we were starting to do that last week. So I don't think it'll stick. But again, I'm not going to do the edges too heavy. Just going to do a quick pass around the back edge there. Okay. So I'm going to sit our rooster down and we're going to start to put our sealer on. And this paint on this one is more than dry enough. So you do want to make sure that you've given it adequate drying time. That may vary based on the sealer that you are using and the paint that you are using. So don't forget about that. If you're using a paint that takes like 24 hours to dry, you're gonna have to let it dry 24 hours before you plop the sealer on. So yeah, that's our chicken or rooster. Definitely want to give the layers time to dry in between. And they're not too far off of each other. They're a little different, but not too terrible. Making sure I've got that sealant brush good and clean, because that layer is going to need a little bit to dry. I mean, the first one always is going to look a little better than the second one, but our second one needs to dry a bit. But we're not gonna finish completely today. I need to go eat. I'm getting super hungry. But this is what it's gonna look like when we're all done. Yeah, so all I have left to do is to put the little hanger on it, but you guys saw the hangers last week. It's just the little starry garland. And when I get that done, I'll probably pop a picture up on Twitter later tonight, at the very least. So that way you can see it completely 100% finished. But you know, I'm gonna put one more layer of sealer on the top of this one once that one's dry. But thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I don't know what we're doing next week yet. I might work on something small. I say small, but it'll probably be a huge freaking endeavor. But I've been kind of wanting to do this one thing, so probably gonna work on that next week. We'll probably be doing like a butterfly mosaic piece. Even if I don't end up giving it to the mother-in-law, I'm only gonna do probably one panel and then either keep it for us or sell it depending on how it looks when it's done. So you guys, thank you so much. For those celebrating Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. I hope you have a good holiday celebration. For my wild challenges people, don't forget to get your death lists in by December 9th, please. So that way we can read them out on the air. And I will see you Wednesday for Bloodthirsty and Pacifist leveling once again. We will be working on Minecraft again on Thursday. Friday we'll be back in with Planet Zoo and some more franchise Friday stuff. We have to put our kangaroos in. And I won't be streaming on Saturday because I'll be doing some wild challengey things. And we might stream the paint by number a little bit during the time that I'm off from wild challenges for the month that the podcast is going to be on vacation. I don't know. I might not. I might just use that time to catch up on other stuff that I want to work on. Or maybe we'll try to make some pinky pins for the shop. We could do that. I need to work on that. Now that I have a sealer that I know I can use on them, I might be a little bit more into trying to make that work. So, yeah, that's always a thing we can try to do. And then I'll see you next Sunday for Art Sunday. So, you guys have a great night. Stay safe if you're playing challengers. Stay safe out of whatever game you're playing in as well. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at NewCBGN. I always post when I'm about to go. Well, I try to remember to post when I go live over there. We have the Kofi page for those that don't want to donate through Twitch. You can donate through there. That goes straight to my PayPal, and you don't have to involve Twitch because I know there's a lot of anger with Twitch right now. We have the Etsy page where some of the things I've done are for sale there. We have our tissue paper art projects up for sale, and we also have some magnets currently. And lastly, we do have the YouTube channel where I try to archive all of the live streams. So if you would be so kind to give that a look-see and give that a subscribe over there. Links to everything should be down below. The YouTube page is NewCBGN, same as here. And the Etsy page is Nisi Paints. So, you guys have a great rest of your evening and weekend. Take care of yourselves, and I will see everybody on Wednesday. Till then, have a good one.